Making headlines this hour, President states that showing true love to children means teaching them about their religion and equipping them with knowledge about the world around them. President inaugurates the Maldives National Defence Force Service Corps School of Engineering and Logistics. And Defence Minister says the government will continue efforts directed by President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu to improve the condition of MNDF.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to PSM News in English with me, Aishat Ika Muhammad Nazil, Jamaluddin School, Grade 8.
And me, Sophia Maria Muhammad, Tarmaunda School, Grade 8.
Before we get into the news in detail, I would like to wish all the children watching a very happy Children's Day.
And because we are celebrating Mother's Day, I'd like to wish all the mothers a very happy Mother's Day.
President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu states that showing true love to children means teaching them about their religion and equipping them with knowledge about the world around them.
The President made the remarks in a social media post shared to mark Children's Day. He also extended greetings and good wishes to children and their families on the occasion. In his message, the President stated that providing children with age-appropriate education and upbringing as they grow is a national responsibility that must be fulfilled jointly by both the government and the public. He noted that educating children in matters related to both faith and worldly life represents the true meaning of love and care for children. The President further stated that true love for children also includes empowering them with the skills needed to become responsible citizens in the future. He additionally stressed the importance of ensuring that children are protected from words or actions that could harm or negatively affect their innocent lives. Children's Day is observed nationally in the Maldives every year on 10th May.
First Lady Sajda Muhammad states that as long as children are protected and cared for, the hopes and aspirations held for the future will continue to become a reality. She made the remarks in a social media post shared on the occasion of Children's Day.
In her message, the First Lady stated that there is no reason to lose hope for the future of a nation where children are being raised as righteous and well-mannered citizens. She emphasized the importance of ensuring children are nurtured with care, compassion and protection, noting that the future aspirations of society depend on the well-being and upbringing of children. The First Lady also extended heartfelt greetings and good wishes to all Maldivian children and their families on the occasion of Children's Day. Children's Day is observed nationally in the Maldives on 10th May each year.
President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu inaugurates the National Maldives Defence Force Service Corps School of Engineering and Logistics.
The school was opened during celebrations marking the 134th anniversary of the Maldives National Defence Force MNDF. According to Ministry of Defence and National Service, the school located in Kiha Dubai Atoll was established to develop the technical and scientific capabilities of the Maldives National Defence Force MNDF. It is the first such training school in the Maldives dedicated to producing technically skilled military personnel. One of the school's key aims is to provide technical training under the President's National Service Initiative. While 65 students from 35 islands are already enrolled in the school, this includes 49 male students and 16 female students aged between 16 and 19. The courses offered at the school include automobile engineering, marine engineering, electrical work, refrigeration, welding, and office management. The program lasts 4 months and is approved by Maldives Qualification Authority MQA at Level 3. It is intended to prepare students for employment and the job market. Besides technical education, the program also focuses on discipline, character building, punctuality, religious awareness, and values related to national service. The inauguration ceremony also featured a report as the presentation of special medals to long-serving soldiers.
President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu emphasizes that it is his responsibility to ensure proper support and entitlements for soldiers and their families. He made the remarks during an official ceremony marking the 134th anniversary of the Maldives National Defence Force MNDF.
The president described the Maldives National Defense Force as one of the country's most respected institutions and said its efforts to protect the country's independence and sovereignty must be valued. He said efforts to improve MNDF have continued since he took office and will continue in the future. The president said with the development of MNDF command centers across the country, soldiers will be allowed to be permanently based at the centers closest to where their families reside. The size of the military force has to be increased to achieve this, and the budget adjustments for this increase have now been factored in and work is now underway. Acknowledging that some MNDF laws and regulations require reform, President indicated plans to revise regulations related to rank limitations, career progression and continued service for long-serving personnel. He also announced plans to amend MNDF retirement rules. On housing, the president said it is a basic right of every citizen and that more housing opportunities will be provided for military personnel under the government's housing policy. Construction of a modern housing project in Banderi Koshi barracks area is expected to begin within 8 months. He further announced additional development of Girifushi, the MNDF training island, as well as expansion of training facilities in the north and south of the country. He also pledged increased foreign training opportunities for MNDF personnel. The president said these initiatives would be implemented sustainably.
Minister of Defence and National Service Hassan Rashid says the government will continue efforts directed by President Dr. Mohammad Muizzu to improve the condition of Maldives National Defence Force in MNDF. He made the remarks during celebrations marking the 134th anniversary of MNDF.
The minister said the main purpose of celebrating MNDF's anniversary is to recognize the sacrifices and hard work of MNDF personnel in protecting the country and its people. He described MNDF soldiers as brave and said he had witnessed their dedication personally. The minister revealed that during his first meeting with President Dr. Muizzu after his appointment, the president instructed him to improve MNDF's condition. He revealed that he was asked to upgrade operational equipment, improve the condition of MNDF centers and barracks, and upgrading MNDF uniforms and safety equipment. Efforts are already underway to address these issues, he said, adding that an MNDF technical team is currently identifying additional areas requiring improvement. Acknowledging support from other government ministries and state-owned companies towards the efforts, the minister thanked the entities for their cooperation. He stated that protecting the Maldives' sovereignty and independence is President Dr. Muizzu's top priority.
Chief of Defence Force Major General Ibrahim Hilmi announces that the Maldives effectively controls the most critical maritime choke points in the Indian Ocean, citing the vast number of vessels navigating territorial waters as a testament to the nation's regional authority.
Speaking at a ceremony commemorating the 134th anniversary of the Maldives National Defence Force MNDF, Major General Ibrahim Hilmi outlined strategic imperatives, noting that safeguarding land, airspace, outer space and maritime domains remains a paramount constitutional duty. In accordance with the Armed Forces Act, the military is obligated to defend its 200-mile exclusive economic zone and confront external security threats emerging beyond this boundary. Strategically positioned with a significant sector of the Indian Ocean, the Maldives witnesses an annual transit of approximately 70,000 to 90,000 vessels. Major General Ibrahim Hilmi noted that this remains the primary reason why the Maldivian domain is of profound significance to every region across the globe. Under the defence policies established by President Muizzu, the government is procuring advanced technology to monitor terrestrial and aerial domains while expanding fire and rescue services nationwide to secure historical advancements in operational readiness.
First Lady Sajida Mohammed joins hundreds of participants in celebration of National Children's Day and Mother's Day at the Sifamar Fun Run 2026, organized by the Maldivian National Defence Force MNDF Family Association at the Hulumale Synthetic Track.
The event marked a significant milestone for the annual gathering, drawing 1,050 participants, a substantial increase from the 400 runners who took part in the last year's inaugural run. The First Lady expressed her honour at participating in this year's festivities, highlighting the growing significance of the community initiative within Maldivian society. The Sifama Fun Run 2026 featured two distinct races throughout the day, with the 10-kilometer run held in the morning session and the 5-kilometer run taking place in the evening. This year's event represented a notable expansion from its original format, as the run was previously exclusive to families of MNDF personnel before opening its doors to the general public based on the overwhelming positive response from the previous edition. Sifama, the civil society organization behind the event, is officially registered with the government and operates with the primary objective of supporting MNDF personnel and their families. The association serves as a unifying body representing MNDF, fostering camaraderie and providing valuable support networks within the military community.
The Maldives is observing National Children's Day this Sunday, 10th May, an annual occasion defined this year by a central focus on family stability and the well-being of children.
Recognizing that youth represent the nation's ultimate hope, authorities maintain that the metrics of genuine national development are rooted in the safety and the physical and psychological health of children. In alignment with global standards, the Maldives is implementing rigorous measures to construct a safe and secure environment for its youngest citizens. To dismantle systematic barriers, the government has ratified and is enforcing the Child Rights Protection Act, the Juvenile Justice Act, and the Education Act. Despite these legislative advancements, the Ministry of Health, Family and Welfare recently documented 230 cases of abuse in a single month, including 92 reports significantly involving the maltreatment of minors, figures officially described as deeply alarming. The government is pursuing a permanent solution, state officials said, reiterating that a safe and dignified environment for every child remains the paramount objective. Guided by international conventions, the state has initiated programs that successfully placed 110 children back into family environments over the past 2 years. However, the ministry reported that 160 children remained wards of the state as of June 2025. To support them, the government is expanding childcare facilities and elevating operational standards in Malé and the outer atolls. Partnerships with the private sector further aim to equip aging out adolescents with essential life skills and employment, ensuring state-run centers function as transitional support systems that allow young individuals to achieve independence.
Mothers represent an exemplary model of courage and are profoundly deserving of gratitude, a sentiment underscored globally as communities celebrate Mother's Day today.
Observed annually on the second Sunday of May in many countries, the occasion highlights the preeminent role mothers play in the upbringing, education, and moral development of children. The enduring courage of mothers warrants the highest praise, and profound greetings are extended equally to those balancing demanding careers with child-rearing and those performing arduous, full-time labor of raising children at home. Within the Islamic tradition, mothers are elevated to a remarkably distinguished position where the preservation of their rights constitutes a foundation pillar of ethics. Abu Huraira reported that a man asked the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, peace and blessings be upon him, who is the most deserving of my good company? Your mother. The man asked, then who? The Prophet said, your mother. The man asked again, then who? The Prophet said, your mother. The man asked again, then who? The Prophet said, your father. This teaching signifies that a mother's rights are 3 times greater than those of a father. Religious doctrine states that serving one's mother and ensuring her contentment are paramount pathways to paradise. Allah the Almighty highlights in the Holy Quran the immense physical toll of motherhood, specifically carrying a child in the womb, enduring the agonizing pains of childbirth, and the relentless dedication required to raise a family, while issuing a divine command to treat mothers with the utmost kindness. Despite these standards, contemporary mothers face significant challenges. Unsolicited commentary regarding physical transformations during pregnancy and judgmental remarks concerning a child's development frequently provoke acute anxiety, compromising mental well-being. This burden is pronounced for single mothers who often assume the entirety of financial expenses alone. Following marital separation, the failure of numerous fathers to provide support forces mothers to independently shoulder an immense weight. Furthermore, elderly mothers often suffer the agony of isolation when adult children become too consumed by busy schedules to visit or share affection. While appreciation cannot be confined to a single date, Mother's Day formally recognizes maternal resilience. Every citizen shares a collective responsibility to cultivate a secure environment that guarantees the psychological and physical well-being of mothers everywhere.
In business, a senior executive at Ryanair says that will close its operating base at Greece's Thessaloniki airport this winter after airport operator Fraport increased annual fees.
Speaking to reporters in Athens, Ryanair's chief commercial officer Jason McGuinness said there was no progress in talks between the low-cost carrier and Fraport, which has increased charges for airlines operating at some Greek airports.
It is commercially unviable to keep our Thessaloniki base open when the Fraport Greece monopoly won't even speak to us in terms of having a sensible discussion on charges, sit down with us, how can we grow Thessaloniki together, but they don't want to know.
He also mentioned that the Iran crisis and the jet fuel increased prices didn't affect Ryanair. The Irish low-cost carrier currently bases 3 aircraft in Greece's second largest city and operates up to 33 daily flights. Local authorities and tourism bodies warned the withdrawal could significantly affect visitor numbers, hotels, and businesses across the wider region. McGuinness did not say if the move would lead to job cuts among the 100 people who work at the Thessaloniki base. He added the combined moves will result in the loss of 700,000 seats and 12 routes across Greece, and also the suspension of operations at Hania and Heraklion airports during off-peak months.
In international, Philippine President Fernandez Marcos Jr. says that a regional cooperation of the Southeast Asian bloc was needed to tackle various issues, including the conflict in the Middle East that has affected the region.
During the summit held in the Philippines' central island of Cebu, Southeast Asian leaders stressed an urgent need to coordinate their response to the impacts of the Middle East crisis, as they aim to ease pressure from an energy shock that has rattled their oil import-reliant economies.
The global landscape has rarely been more complex or more consequential. In the past 2 months alone, rising oil prices driven up by the Middle East conflict have pushed up the cost of basic goods and placed ASEAN nationals in harm's way around the world. It is precisely against this backdrop that the 48th ASEAN Summit convened, and that ASEAN's unity and centrality matters most, especially in such times.
Chair of ASEAN, Marcos, said the fallout from the war in Iran had created a domino effect of disruption and highlighted the need for foresight, coordination, and concrete and collective action. The ASEAN leaders are expected to call for a negotiated settlement between the United States and Iran, as well as a reopening of the Strait of Hormuz, a conduit for about 130 vessels a day and a fifth of the world's oil and gas supplies prior to the conflict.
Russia holds its most scaled-back Victory Day parade in years due to the threat of attack from Ukraine, where victory for Moscow's forces has proven elusive more than 4 years into the deadliest European conflict since World War II.
The May 9th parade on Red Square marks Russia's most revered national holiday, a time to celebrate the Soviet Union's victory over Nazi Germany and to pay homage to the 27 million Soviet citizens, including many from Ukraine, who perished. Once used to show off Russia's vast military, including its nuclear-capable intercontinental ballistic missiles, the parade this year had no tanks or other military equipment rolling over the cobbles of Red Square. Soldiers and sailors, some of whom have served in Ukraine, marched and cheered as President Vladimir Putin looked on, seated beside Russian veterans in the shadow of Vladimir Lenin's mausoleum. Fighter planes will fly above the towers of the Kremlin, and Putin is due to make a speech before laying flowers at the tomb of the unknown soldier. After Russia and Ukraine accused each other of violating unilateral ceasefires they had each declared over recent days, U.S. President Donald Trump announced a 3-day ceasefire from Saturday to Monday that was supported by the Kremlin and Kyiv. The two sides also agreed to exchange 1,000 prisoners. He added that he would like to see a big extension of the ceasefire. There were no reports of violations of the ceasefire from either Moscow or Kyiv. Russia, which invaded Ukraine in 2022, had warned that any attempt by Kyiv to disrupt Saturday's event would lead to a massive missile strike on the Ukrainian capital. Moscow told foreign diplomats that they should evacuate Kyiv staff in the event of such an attack. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky issued a tongue-in-cheek decree allowing Russia's May 9 military parade to proceed and saying Ukrainian weapons would not target Red Square. Security was tight in Moscow. Reuters pictures showed soldiers with guns atop pickup trucks and roads blocked around the center of the capital, which, along with the surrounding region, has a population of 22 million. After Nazi Germany invaded the Soviet Union in 1941, the Red Army eventually pushed Nazi forces back to Berlin, where Adolf Hitler killed himself, and the Red Soviet Victory banner was raised over the Reichstag in May 1945. Nazi Germany's unconditional surrender came into force at 11:01 p.m. on May 8, 1945, marked as Victory in Europe Day by Britain, the United States, and France. In Moscow, it was already May 9th, which became the Soviet Union's Victory Day in what Russians call the Great Patriotic War of 1941-45. But this year's parade comes amid a wave of anxiousness in Moscow about the ultimate outcome of the conflict in Ukraine. The war has killed hundreds of thousands of people, left swaths of Ukraine in ruins, and drained Russia's $3 trillion economy, while Russia's relations with Europe are worse than at any time since the depths of the Cold War.
In sports, Al Hilal's Theo Hernandez goes deep into first half stoppage time as his side rallied to beat Al Kholoud 2-1 in the Saudi Kings Cup final, earning coach Simone Inzaghi his first trophy with the club.
Al Kholoud took an early lead through Ramiro Enrique, the Argentine striker firing in from close range in the 4th minute after rounding goalkeeper Yassine Bounou. Al Hilal drew level just before the interval when Nasser Al-Dawsari struck in the 42nd minute, before Hernandez arrived at the far post moments later to complete the turnaround. Inzaghi's side now returned their focus to the Saudi Pro League, where they sit 5 points behind leaders Al Nasr, ahead of a meeting between the sides, with Al Hilal holding a game in hand.
In entertainment, Christie's Spring 20th and 21st Century Art Sales kicks off on Monday, May 18th, with more than 750 works spanning modern and contemporary art.
The top lots are Jackson Pollock's Explosive Number 7A 1948 and Konstantin Brunkush's modern sculpture Danade, each estimated in the region of $100 million. Both come from the private collection of S.I. Newhouse, the late Condé Nast owner. Christie's says the 16-work group carries an aggregate low estimate of $450 million.
Two top lots of the selection of 16 of sculpture by Brancusi, and the most important drip painting in private hands by Jackson Pollock. The estimate for each is around $100 million. There is no precedent at auction for this. The record is around half of what our current estimate is, but most of the works that have been offered have been a fraction of the size. And by fraction, I don't mean a half, I mean a tenth.
Brunkushi's Danade from 1913 is being billed as one of the most important sculptures Christie's has offered, representing what Carter called the beginning of modern sculpture. Pollock's number 7A, 1948, spans 11 feet and comes from a period when the artist reinvented easel painting and essentially opened the door for artists for the next 50 years. Other highlights include works by Roy Lichtenstein, Pablo Picasso, Mark Rothko, Cy Twombly, and Gerhard Richter. Despite volatility in global markets and world events, Christie's said it is entering the season with great optimism, after what it called one of the strongest first quarters in the company's history. Christie's New York spring art sales run through May 21st.
That's all we have for this hour. Thank you for tuning into PSM News and have a pleasant time ahead. Wassalamu alaikum.